This tops our bulletin this hour, where students of the Northwest University's Mahikeng campus have marched to the Provincial Department of Education today. The students have handed over a memorandum demanding that security measures be strengthened at schools. This follows an incident at Ramotshere High School near Zeerust, where almost 2 weeks ago, during which a 17-year-old grade 10 pupil allegedly stabbed a 24-year-old teacher Khadimang Mokolobate to death. Police arrested the suspect on the school premises shortly after, and he is now facing a charge of murder. The students have called on the department to work closely with other stakeholders to curb violence and other social ills in schools. Our reporter Bafedile Mwerani is monitoring the situation for us.
Welcome to the Northwest in the capital city, Mahikeng, where the Northwest University students have marched to the Department of Education to hand over the memorandum of their demands with regard to safety in schools. This, you would recall that it was triggered by the incident that happened in Luhuruti there in Dinukana, whereby a 24-year-old teacher from Ramatlabama was killed by a learner last Thursday. Now, to hear more clarity, basically, what does the memorandum entail and what is it that the students want from the Department of Education here in the province? We are going to be joined by the fourth-year teaching student Sibusiso from the Northwest University. Sibusiso, thank you so much for joining us. What exactly does your memorandum entail as the students from the Northwest University?
Okay, thank you for this interview. The memorandum is actually straightforward, and like it has been said already, we are demanding safety in schools, and safety is not only for teachers but for everyone in the school. The memorandum actually entails the clauses that are found in the South African Schools Act, of which there are provisions that are made that the Department of Education ought to make sure that we have security in schools. The Department of Education ought to make sure that there are no drugs, there are no dangerous objects that are allowed in the school premises, and so on. So what we are basically doing is that we are calling for the Department of Education to enforce these rules. I mean, one of the things that we are talking about is that as much as they say such objects, such drugs and whatsoever, they are not allowed in schools, there should be punishment for those people who are coming to the schools. And particularly nowadays we have seen that it seems as if the teachers are not appreciated. Whatever that the teachers are trying to do, they would tell the teachers to make sure that there's discipline in the school, but when they enforce discipline, they are being fought against. I mean, there's nothing that they can do. We are told that you have to give verbal warnings. Currently, we have the incidence of the 24-year-old teacher who was stabbed to death after giving a verbal warning to a student, and the student stabbed the teacher to death. So how are we then, the teachers and the upcoming teachers, how are we then going to enforce discipline and so on? So the department has to make sure and enforce the rules, enforce the policies that are there. We have the South African Schools Act. An act is passed by the government, and therefore they must make sure that it happens, it takes place.
So last week we engaged various stakeholders in the education fraternity who also stated that this is a societal issue, meaning that parents and everybody in society should be involved in trying to resolve this issue of safety. What can you say about this?
To be honest, that's so heartbreaking to can hear people saying that whereas we have policies that govern safety and whatsoever in schools. We can never have a teachers' union, for example, telling us that this is a societal issue. Let them use the policies that are there. And then once the policies are enforced, that is when then we can have a way forward. And the society, nowadays the society is reluctant because they know that there is nothing that will happen. There's nothing that they can do. Right now you find that learners can do whatever they want because they know that the department, or rather the government, is by their side. I wonder that if the teachers' unions and whatsoever, in their silence, what are they saying? What kind of a nation are we trying to build if they are keeping quiet and they are now taking the responsibilities to the societies? It is not the societies that pay the annual membership fee. It is the teachers in schools. We also have the South African Council of Educators. An educator just does something so small whatsoever in trying to discipline, and then they say no, that teacher must be suspended from school. So what is that? I mean, they are told that they need to enforce discipline. When they enforce, discipline, practically it won't be something that is so nice. It is undesirable. Then when discipline is enforced, then teachers will have to, they stand a chance of losing their job. So what is that? So the government ought to do something. And like I said, it is so heartbreaking to find such people saying that it is a societal issue. Let them, if it's a societal issue, why don't they leave everything, even the teachers, to be the societal issue then?
Thank you so much, SABC, for joining us. This is the Northwest University student whom they have handed over the memorandum of their demands with regard to safety here at the Department of Education. It is now back to you in the studio.